Little Ways to Keep Calm and Carry On. 20 Lessons for Managing Worry, Anxiety, and Fear by Mark Reinecke. Narrated by Stephen Thorne. About the title. 1939 was a dark and savage year in Europe. Hitler and the Nazi army had annexed Austria and Czechoslovakia, and on September 1st, Hitler launched his blitzkrieg attack on Poland. 2 days later, France and Great Britain declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. The title of this book and The Small Crown are based upon a motivational poster published by the British government that same year. Long forgotten, a copy of the poster was found in a used bookstore in Northumberland, England in 2000. The poster has since become a popular, even iconic message of resilience in the face of adversity. Simple, reassuring, and inspiring, it remains an encouraging sentiment in difficult times. To my wife, Marcia, and my daughter, Gracie, with love. To Aaron Beck and Arthur Freeman, with greatest appreciation. Introduction. Worrying is a national epidemic, so if you feel anxious and uncertain, you're not alone. But there's good news. Thanks to researchers and clinicians, this subject is well understood. Here it is, a quick, compact read that tells you what you need to know to understand anxiety and deal with it constructively. This little book presents the most important findings from empirical research in cognitive behavioral therapy and affective neuroscience in a concise way that's easy to grasp. It tells you what you need to know and do. Based on recent work in empirically supported anxiety treatments, this easy-to-read guide will help you deal with an emotion that can completely unravel your day. Think of this book as a tool that teaches you how to filter your thoughts in ways that will change both how you feel and how you behave. Despite the simplicity of the techniques, they produce powerful results. Read each lesson in sequence. Some will resonate with you more than others, but each lesson allows you to build your own customized anxiety management toolbox. As you read this book, consider taking some time to write your thoughts. Put pen to paper and note how you might apply the various lessons in your life. This is your own personal journey, an opportunity to learn to think, feel, and behave differently. You might think of your notes as a personal journal or a private blog. Keeping a journal is entirely optional, but writing notes and reflecting on new information will not only aid your retention, but also help you organize the material in your mind and integrate it with your existing knowledge. It may make for a richer and more useful experience, and it should only take a few minutes. Give it a try. Many of the lessons conclude with recommendations for action under the headings, "Now ask yourself," and "What you need to do." For these activities, you'll need a notebook or at least a few blank sheets of paper. Though brief, these exercises can be quite powerful. Applying daily what you've learned can accelerate the process, increasing your likelihood of making progress and maintaining your gains. These are the tools that will help you master your worry, anxiety, and fear. Clinicians often refer to them as homework, but this isn't homework in the academic sense. Rather, it's the notion that though insight alone, what we learn, may not bring about changes in emotions or behavior, we can introduce change by acting on our knowledge and insight. You'll want to apply this insight in your day-to-day life, and these exercises are an opportunity to do just that. Know this: these approaches work. I've seen them work with my clients. Most importantly, dozens of controlled studies completed at clinics and research centers around the world support the approaches described in this book. The result? Using them can help you have a better day, one where you are more productive, have a greater sense of control, and manage whatever life throws your way by using solutions rather than letting worry take your brain hostage. A small book is no substitute for professional care, of course. If you are experiencing more severe anxiety or thoughts of death or suicide, you'll want to work with an experienced mental health specialist. You'll find internet resources at the end of the book. Don't underestimate the power of worry, anxiety, and fear. When appropriate, they can play a positive, even essential role in your life. However, they can also be disruptive and disabling. The bottom line is that you don't have to be a victim of these unpleasant emotions. You can control how you live your day and what role anxiety plays, and this little guide will show you how. Let's get on with it. Lesson 1. Anxiety. It works. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. Mark Twain. Based in the oldest areas of the brain, anxiety is highly adaptive. It alerts us to potential dangers in our environment and impels us to take action. Anxiety and fear are essential for our survival. All people experience anxiety, and this has been true since the beginning of time. That's how the human brain is wired. Back in the 60s, there was a popular television show called Lost in Space. One of the main characters was a robot that would light up and exclaim, "Danger, danger, danger," on a fairly regular basis. This was a signal warning all the characters to be alert. Your own brain operates very much like this robot. Anxiety is your brain's way of alerting you to a potential threat or danger in your environment. And like the robot in the show, it's very difficult to ignore. When your brain perceives a threat, it assesses the environment for responses to two quick questions. How big of a threat is it? And can I manage it or avoid it? The level of anxiety you feel matches how significant you perceive the threat or danger to be, as well as how confident you are in your ability to cope. Let's look at an example. A Neanderthal man is sitting in his cave when a snarling bear appears at the entrance. The man perceives the danger and becomes, quite reasonably, anxious. His brain all but instantly perceives the threat and evaluates the danger, high risk. He realizes he can't escape and is defenseless, low coping, so his level of fear soars. Now, let's take the same scenario, but change the man's perceptions. The same snarling bear enters the cave, high risk, but the man has a club. Seeing that the bear is in a tight entrance where it can't stand upright or maneuver, the man thinks, "I've got the advantage, high coping. I'm ready, and I'm going after him. I'll have some food and a fur blanket for winter, moderate anxiety, adaptive coping." Now, let's look at a more contemporary scenario. Your boss calls you into his office and says, "The bottom line's really bad. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to let you go in 30 days. Your brain, quite reasonably, perceives the threat. You begin to think, "No paycheck. I won't be able to pay the bills or my mortgage, and I'll lose my house. I don't know what I can do." And your anxiety soars. Now, let's change the perceptions. Your boss calls you into his office and says, "Your job is over in 30 days. But this time you think, "I haven't been happy in this job for a long, long time, and this company is on a downward slope. Now is as good a time as any for a change." You continue by noting, "I've got a good skill set, and I've always wanted to start a company of my own. Perhaps this is the push I need to make a change. This could be a great opportunity. I don't like it, but I can handle it. High coping, moderate anxiety." The stimulus in each of the previous examples is exactly the same, but the emotional responses are entirely different. In the first scenario, the worry machine is turned on full force. In the second one, the anxiety is lower because of the positive perception of the ability to cope. Key points. Anxiety is adaptive. It signals a perceived threat. How anxious you become depends on two things. 1. How significant you perceive the threat to be. 2. Your perceived ability to cope, that is, how well you think you can manage this threat. You control these two perceptions. If you change them, you can feel less anxious. What you may be thinking: "My mind doesn't come equipped with a volume control that I can turn up or down to control the level of anxiety I feel. It isn't that simple. Besides, the things I'm worried about are real. I'm not exaggerating. These things could happen. I feel very afraid and uncertain. I just want these feelings to go away.